All right. Hello and welcome to Kai Chi Alchemy. You can call me Katchi. This is a space of love, y'all. Welcome or welcome back. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the cosmos today. I want to thank y'all for showing up. Thanks for co-creating community with me. Thanks for supporting the channel with all those likes, shares, subscribes, etc. Comments. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We passed the 33 mark on the subscriber number count recently. I thought that was very cute, the Jesus number and all of that. So thank you for bringing that energy onto the channel. I was just gonna do a brief check-in and get a brief message for everybody today. I know that the Sagittarius New Moon is coming up literally in like a couple of hours. So definitely took my time on it this time. I feel like the new moons for the last couple of months and the full moons, it's kind of this weird reverse, right? I didn't sleep at all last night. Usually when it's a new moon, logically you'd think, you know, it's less light outside, things are calm, it's like cave energy, you should be able to sleep easier. And that's kind of illustrating what I'm talking about is I feel like very big release and surrender energy around the last couple of new moons and very big clarity and intention setting almost in the energy of the full moons lately. Obviously, you know, there's a lot more going on there, but it was an observation that I made just to myself. Let me know if you've experienced anything similar recently. I am going to clear the energy with the sound bowl before we get started, so if you have any sound sensitivities or anything of that nature, please feel free to remove your headphones or turn down your volume here. Today we're going to be tapping into the energy of the Sagittarius New Moon. So that is all about hope and optimism, change, forward movement, freedom, learning. How it's going to impact you specifically is going to depend on your birth chart and your human design and your childhood and all kinds of things. But this is a general message for the purposes of you practicing your own discernment. So welcome. I'm going to pull a couple of cards here today, but I'm not going to go into super traditional tarot narrative land. I feel like that is not necessary right now at all. In fact, whenever you see this video, if you're watching it in real time, over today and the next couple of days, if you have the ability to be as quiet and still as possible, to find a cave, a bed, a home, a something to hunker down into and listen and be open to receiving downloads from spirit and allowing yourself to have those come in free of distortion and delusion, and when that does happen, that you're able to catch it faster because you have that moment-to-moment relationship with spirit rather than just like in your yoga class, in your spiritual practice, in your meditation, in your magic, in your Sunday morning, in your Saturday night, you know? But really bringing the intention, the awareness, and the communication and the co-creation between you and your higher power, even if that is your higher self, your most integrated, like the observer within, the father within, interacting with your subconscious and your body and your soul, your heart, your mother energy and your child energy, allowing all of that to work together in every moment, because everything is so multifaceted. And sometimes in tarot land, people really get attracted to archetypes because they want to study them so they can understand things, because they think if they understand all of the words, all the patterns, all of the way that things work in the world, then they can prevent pain and suffering and improve the world and help other people. And I mean, that to a degree, right? We all have control over the things we can control, but we all have a lot of stuff going on around up here. You know, just delusions about what we can control and what we can't control. And the only way to get really clear on that is to jump in face first and test things out and fail and just go through that ugly, uncomfortable, weird growth process. Sagittarius is all about learning. Sagittarius is all about learning. So, if you want to learn, you need to be quiet, listen, and remove any intentions about like what you want to hear, what you think would be best, right? What was coming through today was about releasing control and embracing curiosity. And if you can hold that curiosity lightly and consistently, then all these things that you're trying to understand, they're not going to seem so scary, and you're not going to feel so compelled to control things that really largely are outside of your control. It can be very nice to understand what you're looking at so that you can make the decisions for yourself, within yourself and your own life, in response to what you're seeing. And that will work better if what you're seeing is clear and accurate, right? But you're doing that for yourself and your own ability to navigate, not, I guess it's kind of what I always say about magic, right? Some people practice magic in this dark, manipulative energy of attempting to influence other people's free will choices, which sometimes you can do in certain ways by certain methods. But at the end of the day, it never lasts, and you always get kicked back by spirit later on. When you make a deal with the devil, you are going to be under the impression that you're giving up something to get something, and that thing you want is worth it, but you are never actually going to get that thing. It's like, yeah, it was promised to you to get your energy to be used in service of something external, whatever that devil energy represents, right? So it's all about bringing it in right now, which is interesting because Sagittarius is usually about from the center out, right? But you can spiral out too much in that way. So what really is the difference between out and in? It's all relative. The further out you go, eventually you come back. The further inside of ourselves we go, the more we learn about God and the universe and higher things. And the more we dive into the real world and get our hands dirty, the more we learn all kinds of spiritual truths through that experience that we wouldn't really be able to learn, and wouldn't be able to learn in a very grounded way without that. And so we don't want to be dependent on spirit or our higher self or our higher perspective or any of that. We want to develop the skills and the capacity within us to meet all of the challenges that we come across in every moment. And like really seeing life as a journey, not a destination. But it's true. If we were here for the destination, well, we wouldn't be here in a place with regeneration and cyclicality. It's obviously a fire to play with and to learn with, but it's not to be played like a game, like you're trying to manipulate it and control to win. It's kind of like when you play a game, and it's competitive, but you're really just there for the experience. So if you're really just there for the experience, you don't get the same emotional reaction that you have to deal with if you lose or whatever. Because the goal was never to beat out the competition. The goal was to learn, to experience, to connect. So if in any way those themes are speaking to you right now, I would recommend focusing on practical ways that you can move more and more from that space, and also to remove things and heal and clear things that are maybe obstacles in that process, right? We're at 11:05 on the clock. I'm going to grab in no particular order from these decks. I apologize for the lack of warning on that one. I was channeling a visual for this reading earlier, and it was, you know that movie In the Tall Grass? I forget like who the actors are in it, but basically these people end up in this big like cornfield kind of thing, and lots of drama and confusion and chaos ensues. But somewhere in there's this woman who is pregnant, and she ends up, you know, getting chased and manipulated and influenced by this dark energy, by this demonic whatever was going on there. And it was affecting everybody. It was like, you know, kind of a psychological thriller kind of thing almost. And in this part of the movie that I was thinking back on, it was about when she was having her baby, but she was so out of it because of all of the stuff that had just happened. She was just like physically, her body couldn't take it anymore. It was like, you know, major 10 of Wands energy, major like, yeah, 10 of Wands, 9 of Swords. Not even 9 of Swords though, because she was so exhausted. She couldn't have really that many emotions, and she really couldn't have any thoughts. She wasn't thinking critically. She wasn't seeing clearly. She wasn't hearing clearly. She was so tired. She just had this baby, and she's in this trance kind of state, being so overwhelmed where you kind of like disassociate almost by, you know, need, just out of need. And so while she's all disassociated like this other guy who this demonic force is channeling through, he takes a part of her baby, and you know, they've been running in this space for a long time, no food, no water, running, nothing to eat. She just had a baby. Okay, so this guy takes her baby. Trigger warning, I guess you should know better if you're not new to this channel, but just in case. And he feeds her baby, and she's so out of it that she starts to eat her baby.